to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from here, and this has been like a therapy session.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. We're at the Liverpool University here. Is that right?
It is a university in Liverpool, but there's a lot of universities in Liverpool, which I found out this morning because I was doing some talk with students, and I went to the wrong university. So this is not Liverpool John Moyles. This is another university.
Well, Eddie thought the presser was at the hotel.
Yeah, I can imagine he did. The weigh-in's at the hotel tomorrow, Hilton Hotel, 1 o'clock. See you there.
There seems to be a lot of miscommunication going around in your organisation, mate.
There's a lot going on, to be honest, Coog. There's a lot going on, so I don't mind a few miscommunicated venues. That's okay. We can deal with that.
Anyway, let's roll. Callum Smith obviously not in action this week, which was a bit of a blow. Obviously, he's headlining the show, but the show still goes on.
Yeah, I was going to sing that show must go on thing. Yeah, it was a shame. You can't really win because people say, oh, it's not a very good show now. But at the same time, if we didn't do it, people would say, oh, you're not giving the undercard fighters the opportunity. The key for us was to make sure the undercard fighters got the opportunity to box. They've been training for 6, 7, 8 weeks, and we got some great fights on there. Robbie Davis Jr. obviously against Foley, Diego Pacheco coming over to the UK for the first time to take on Jack Cullen, Peter McGrail's debut with us since he's actually been signed to us. Looking forward to that. Johnny Fisher, Rhiannon Dixon's first title shot, Paddy Lacey, stat card of Keith Fiaz, Campbell Hatton. So, a stat card from top to bottom and some exciting fights. So, like I say, the focus always for us was to make sure we kept the show up and running.
Campbell Hatton and Akib Fiaz, future fight, possibly?
Yeah, I think Campbell Hatton and Akib Fiaz, massive fight. He's just over there. Do that in Manchester, sell out what was the MEN, what's now some... Well, they change the name of it all the time, don't they?
Is it not just the Manchester Arena?
Arena? Yeah, Manchester Arena, we'll call it that. We'll, that'll be a packed house for that one, so maybe that's not next, but a year down the road maybe. He wants to go to Abu Dhabi first again, he said. What? Abu Dhabi Team Fiaz t-shirt. There you go.
I've got a Team Fiaz t-shirt, actually.
What?
Oh, anyway. Frank, what was your reaction to watching Conor Benn's interview with Piers Morgan, mate?
I have to be completely honest, I haven't watched the whole thing because I've been travelling around a lot. I've seen a lot of snippets from it. I've seen a lot of reaction of the way people took what he said from it. I think one thing I'll say for Conor Benn, he's a 25-year-old guy, right? 26, sorry, who has been through something that none of us can ever imagine, and I hope no one ever has to go through, is the truth. In whatever walk of life situation, to the level he's been through this sort of public, trial by public, like none of us should have to ever go through that, is the reality. So has he maybe said all the right things, dealt with it all the right way, come across the right way or manner every time? Maybe not for everyone's liking, is the reality. But would all of us do that in that situation at 26 years old, having gone through what he's gone through? Probably yes. I think the focus for Conor now and for us is he's been cleared to box. That was always... Conor's focus was always... He could have boxed the week after, that last show falling through somewhere in the world, couldn't he? If he wanted to do that. His focus was to clear his name. This has been going on for 5 months now. His name's been cleared, and now we have to focus on moving forward. People will always have their opinion on him. Some people will never change their opinion on him. Some people will always have a view. And I think, unfortunately, you have to accept that now. But having spent a lot of time with him over this period of time and seen how it's affected him, I'm glad we're at the point we're at now, because I don't think he could have put up with much more of it. He's still got a lot to deal with. Like every question here comes back to Conor Benn at some point. But hopefully we'll get some news soon on his fight back.
I mean, I've watched the whole thing, and one of the repetitive questions from Piers Morgan in that was about the 270-page document, which he kept asking Conor Benn, why don't you give that into the British Board of British Boxing Board of Control. We know there's an ongoing situation, or there is due to be one regarding Conor and the board. He's already made his comments about suing them, etc., etc. So that situation is quite complicated. It doesn't seem as easy as just handing it over, where handing it over in many people's eyes kind of possibly will give that opinion and that kind of clarification that the board needs to move on from their side.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole thing, there's a lot of things in the background that have been going on the whole way along, and people just have this view of, oh, it's simple, just do X, Y, Z. But that's not the way this all works. There's a lot of legal stuff that's been going on. You know, Conor has been cleared by the people who did the testing. He didn't fail a British Boxing Board of Control test. The British Boxing Board of Control have never taken a VADA test in the past before. Conor Benn has been cleared by experts within the field who know what they're looking at. I'm not a specialist. You know, give me the document, I couldn't understand the majority of it. That's the reality. You wouldn't understand it. 95% of people on Twitter, or 99%, wouldn't understand it. The most important thing in my eyes is the people. So, you know, people would say, well, the WBC is not the governing body or a regulatory body, but the WBC were the people who implemented that test. You know, so it's like me setting something up, saying this is what we have to do, and if you fail it, someone else is going to decide, some other party is going to decide whether it's right or wrong. The WBC did their job. They brought in independent specialists, and the WBC, if he wasn't clear, it's done in the WBC because people now have a view of the So they have brought in specialists who have come to this conclusion. Not me or you, people who know what they're talking about. And they've come to this conclusion. The board piece, you know, the British Boxing Board of Control brought him in on a misdemeanor charge early on. They tried to fine him a load of money without actually giving him the time of day. Like, if it would have been over a 5-month period, I said, no, you're guilty and we're going to fine you £50,000. It's a different story. But, you know, before him actually being able to go through this process, they took a view with him. So I can understand his frustration and his position with the board. I can get that. But people wouldn't understand it necessarily on social media because they haven't been there, they haven't seen it, and they haven't seen the process that's gone through. So yeah, look, there is still things going on. And wouldn't it be great if we could just do what everyone thinks is simple and we wouldn't have had to go down this road and, you know, but that's not the way life goes.
Frank, obviously Eddie Hearn has pointed out the fact of Conor Benn's next fight will not be in the UK, as that's as clear as anything that we do know. Do you think that Conor Benn will fight in the UK again, obviously pending this situation with the board?
I honestly don't know. You know, it depends how this situation plays out, doesn't it? You know, I would like him to fight in the UK again, but I think the reality is anything that plays out is going to take a while to play out. And he's been out the ring now since April, since his last fight. And the key is at his age is to get him back up and running. He's cleared to box. There's no outstanding issues.
Not in this country, though.
Yeah. No, but he's cleared to, like, you know, he's cleared to box in other countries. And, you know, maybe it's just a period of time, but he hasn't got he hasn't got the time now to have another year or two out of the ring to deal with this process here as well, you know. But that's something that I think in the background will, you know, everything will continue in the background. You know, the position he's taken around the board as well, that will continue, and that will play out. But the focus is getting back up and running, getting back fighting, because by the time he fights, it'll be nearly 15, 16 months since his last fight.
There was a small Twitter exchange. There was.
No trouble, mate? Looking lovely.
It's all right, mate.
Kev looks better now than he ever did. He's $1 million now.
That's how comfortable people are with IFL when they just
Give me a
roll
kick.
in.
You just roll in.
Just roll
I'll
in.
be back in a minute.
Frank, there was a small Twitter exchange between Conor Benn and Chris Eubank the other day, and I did ask Eddie Hearn about this earlier on with Conor Benn's comments about Chris Eubank attempting to blackmail him for £1 million, etc. And Eddie Hearn said that was obviously before, in that situation, Chris Eubank apparently said, look, yeah, we will fight, but you've got to pay me £1 million. So can you just make comment? I'm sure you would have seen that on social media, their little exchange they had 2 days ago.
I saw the back and forth. It's not going to be the end of the back and forth, I'm sure. I'm sure the two of them will enjoy going round the houses with everything they've got to say about each other. I am, as I did last time, going to stay as far away from back and forth between those two as I possibly can. It's a massive look. That fight's definitely going to happen. It's a massive fight. You know, but I'm not getting involved in their back and forth. Thanks very much, KUGAN. I'll leave that to Eddie.
Okay, moving on from there. Last one. Did you see Alex Krassik's comments regarding Fury and Usyk yesterday, which were quite interesting, about apparently a 60-40 split being offered to Tyson Fury?
Yeah, I met Alex Krasik as well this week in London. Look, it would be a shame if that fight doesn't happen, but the way it's looking, I don't think it's going to happen. You know, I've dealt a lot with Usyk. They're a good team to deal with. Alex, Aegis, John Horner, all the team. So I think the fight's there to be made. I don't know. Let's see. Sometimes I think you have to give up something that you don't really want to in order to make those massive events. And we've done it in the past. And, you know, we've advised fighters to do it in the past where maybe the other fighter isn't quite the commercial star you are, or whatever you value, set your value at. So, you know, I think sometimes to make that undisputed fight that he's been talking about he wants for a long time, you have to meet in the middle on things. So let's see. I know it doesn't look likely. It'd be a real shame if it didn't get made, but that's that. Unfortunately, not for us to get involved in that one.
No, that was something not related to you or your promotional
not being
company.
involved with them.
But this is related to you, this actual last one. Taylor and Cameron looking like it could be moving forward?
Yeah, look, it is a huge fight. You know, a lot of people said in the past that Katie didn't want to fight Chantel Cameron, but she came out and shouted it out herself. So look, massive fight. She moved up to 140, challenged for the undisputed titles at a second weight division. We all know what Chantel Cameron can do. We've seen her. She's worked her way through. You know, winning the world title, unified, then undisputed. It'll be a massive fight to be made. Hopefully, I feel like things are moving in the right direction. A few talks still ongoing, but you know, I'm confident we can get that made. Let's see.
Let's see. Frank Smith, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV, and yeah, we'll look forward to a show in Liverpool at the BENNEUBANK Arena, live on DAZN.
Don't miss it. Good to see you, Kugi.
Nice one, bro.
I'm going to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife for saying completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.